You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels with a real emphasis more so on Jayden Daniels. You guys know I've been very vocal about the fact I would take Jayden Daniels number 1 overall in this draft before Caleb Williams. And I got to thinking, what is my rank right now? I can tell you, we cover the Patriots a lot on this channel. And, of course, number 3 is considered a big pivot point in this draft. Will they trade out? A lot of people think there's something already worked out between the Vikings and the Patriots, and nobody knows about it because the Vikings made that big move to get the 11th pick and the 23rd pick. If you're New England, I think that makes a lot of sense, unless Jayden Daniels is available. If Jayden Daniels is available, I take him number 3, and then I go from there. All right, but I've got him as at least my favorite quarterback coming out in the draft. I really like Michael Penix Jr., which you could probably get later. All right, he's a big guy, very good, maybe the best intermediate to deep ball passer in this draft. I kid you not, but he's a pocket passer. You're going to have a good offensive line for Michael Penix Jr. All right, Jayden Daniels, much more mobile. All right, more of a dual threat guy, but, there are definitely reasons why I think he works out in the NFL, and I've said his pocket presence, along with the fact that I think he does better against things like man coverage, makes him a better fit for the NFL than Caleb Williams. Well, guess what? I'm not alone. This guy knows a hell of a lot more about quarterbacking than I do. I'm just a regular dude that's watched a hell of a lot of football. But Dan Orlovsky is now coming out and saying the Bears should take Jayden Daniels. And this echoes very much something we've heard out of Merrill Hodge, a very good evaluator of talent, one of the best in the business, Greg Cosell. Greg Cosell likes Jayden Daniels. To me, from his analysis, as I heard, he never comes out and says, I like one guy over the other, all right? Or I think one guy should be drafted over the other. But you could tell, in my opinion, his review was a lot more glowing of Jayden Daniels than it was of Caleb Williams. And he did come out and say the generational talent part, he just can't see it on film from Caleb Williams. And I think he's the GOAT of evaluators, right? Dan Orlovsky hammered down the point of the Chicago Bears selecting a new quarterback in April, but he made it even more interesting when he said it would be Jayden Daniels, not Caleb Williams, taking it number 1 overall. Caleb Williams versus Jayden Daniels. For months, most of those around the NFL predicted Caleb Williams was the consensus number 1 overall pick. Dan Orlovsky believes otherwise. I've said I would take Jayden Daniels if I was them. I have not backed off of that. I do not expect that to change, Orlovsky told McAfee. Now, the question was asked, what sets Daniels apart from Caleb? This is very interesting. You're going to see man coverage or tight coverage in the NFL significantly higher than in college football. Absolutely. What guy makes better throws in those realistic NFL situations? It's Jayden Daniels. Interesting. Very interesting. Here we go. Orlovsky continued with praise of how much pocket presence, I just said that, Jayden Daniels has. He described Daniels as having a few broken plays and playing strong from the pocket. Quote, I think his pocket, like presence, his peace, his subtlety is most realistic to the NFL. Here's my thing with Caleb again. I don't need to tell people he's ridiculously talented. To think you're going to have tons of opportunities to go run around and make big plays on a consistent basis, it doesn't happen that much. How realistic is that on Sundays? In other words, week in and week out, you've got to be able to stay in the pocket and be able to throw darts from the pocket. All right, we've seen that with dual threat quarterbacks. They get to the playoffs, What happens? Defenses get better. The pockets start closing up. The rush comes down the middle. The rush starts closing the pocket. And the guy's got to be able to hang in there, keep his pocket presence, and throw darts. The one thing, everybody talks about Patrick Mahomes ad-libbing, but Patrick Mahomes can cut you up from inside the pocket. And it's not like Jayden Daniels is slow or can't move around. I mean, this is his rushing statistics. LSU, his final year, 1,100 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns. Year before last, 885 yards, 11 touchdowns. And his last year at Arizona State, 710 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. This guy is this guy may end up being one of the better, what you would refer to as mobile quarterbacks we have come out and seen in a very long time. All right, now, I will say this. There is one thing that goes against what I like to see from a quarterback coming out, and it's the fact that this guy has 2 number 1 wide receivers in the first round. That does make me nervous. But I've seen enough on film to think, you know what, he's throwing, he can get the ball in, he's got some anticipation. I believe against tight man-to-man coverage, he can get the ball in there better. I do. I believe that. He feels like more of a pure quarterback, in my opinion, versus Caleb. And I know there's guys that are more pure pocket quarterbacks, right? Again, Penix Jr., intermediate to deep ball passing, pocket passing. He's the best in the draft, I think. But I think Jayden's going to be able to make the routine throw maybe as well or better than anybody, and you've got to be able to hit a running back running out into the flat too. All right, was one of the problems with, say, a Colin Kaepernick or a Trey Lance, and that's another great. Trey Lance failed at hitting the most elementary throws. He couldn't hit checkdowns, and that was a problem. He could throw a pretty good deep ball, but when you can't throw the ball for 5 or 6 yards with accuracy in order to just move the chains, you've got a major problem there. All right? And those guys, a lot of these dual threat guys can't do that. I think he can do it. So you see this right here. Broncos trade up for Jayden Daniels in 2024 mock draft. Touchdown Wire's Doug Ferrara has the Broncos pulling off a blockbuster trade with the Patriots to land a franchise quarterback. Broncos move up from number 12 to number 3 for an undisclosed cost, to select LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels. In his mock draft, Denver is hoping the trade works better for them than it did for the Niners and Trey Lance. Yeah, well, hell, I'm a Niners fan, so that hit close to home, fella. 3 years ago, the 49ers moved up from 12 to 3rd overall in a swap with the Miami Dolphins. San Francisco gave up 3 first-round picks, 21, 22, and 23. Ugh. And a 3rd-round pick in 2022. Again, I'm still having nightmares from this. To take Jayden Daniels. Again, if New England is sitting there and Jayden Daniels is on the board, they better run that pick up there at record speed. Otherwise, I think New England should trade back. I do. But I'm going to tell you this. I don't know that Jayden Daniels is going to be somebody that Sean Payton's going to love. I think he loves. I bet you if you gave Sean Payton truth serum, he wants JJ McCarthy or Bo Nix. I think he looks at both of those guys and he thinks, this is the prototypical perfect timing and rhythm quarterback for my offense. That's my gut feeling. So, and I would take JJ McCarthy before Bo Nix, personally speaking. And one of the reasons is, and I've said this before, I'm a Michigan fan, so I watch JJ, but I'm not biased. I wish he would have stayed in another year. I think he could have been the number 1 overall pick next year. I don't love the fact that he didn't have a lot of attempts in college because of that offense. But the other thing was I worried about JJ's arm strength and deep ball throwing. That got sort of dispelled for me at the combine. He had the highest velocity passes at the combine, like 61, 62 miles an hour, something like that. Was one of the better ones, stronger ones of all time. And his deep ball passing was really good at the combine. I didn't see either one when he played at Michigan, but the offense didn't ask him to do that on a regular basis. Whereas Michael Penix Jr., hell, 10 times a game, he's doing a 5 or 7 step drop back and throwing it 45 yards. I mean, it's just the difference in offenses that were run between the two. I like JJ a lot more now than I did just 6 weeks ago. And I just got through watching him for 2 seasons. Interesting. Tell me what you think. Would Denver do this? I'd say no. You could take the same mock draft article and drop in the Vikings there if Drake May is on the board, and I think you're in business because I think it's going to go Caleb Williams. I think it's going to go Jayden Daniels, and then I think it's going to go Patriots trade out. Vikings swoop in, get Drake May, and then somebody's going to come up all the way to 4 with the Cardinals and get JJ McCarthy. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.